How do you address nervousness and anxiety during the MMI? Like, this is a high stakes interview, and obviously practice is very different than the real thing. So how do you address that, and do you have any strategies for that?
I think that this is a great question, and I honestly wish that I asked someone about this before, because I think that the pre-MMI anxiety was real. Like, it was so real, and it was almost crippling for me, for sure. Like, I was almost this close to not doing my interview. So I can share a little bit of a personal story with you. So the way that our MMI worked, I'm not sure how it will work this year, but we had 2 days to do our virtual interview, and we just had to do it within this 2-day period. So between this time to this time, and they would tell us, okay, the interview is going to take about this much time. So make sure you start at a time that you'll have enough. So that was it. So I had planned to do my interview at 12 p.m. on May, I think 2nd, I can't remember. And because I had up until 2 p.m. to finish recording it. And I was like, okay, I'll give myself 2 hours of buffer room, even though it might not take that long. I don't know, glitches. So at around 11:50, I was so nervous. It kind of just hit me. I put on my blazer, tied my hair back, put on my glasses, and I was so nervous. And so I'm very grateful that I have such a good group of friends. So I actually called my best friend before my MMI, 10 minutes before, and she's definitely dealt with my anxiety before, because I knew her from undergrad, and I would call her before major tests. I'd call her before major interviews, and she's always just been a support for me. So I called her beforehand, and I was like, Juliana, I'm going to throw up. And she's like, okay, go outside so you don't get it on your blazer. So I went outside my house, and she just helped me walk through some deep breathing. And that's something that really just helped me. It was so simple, but she was like, just breathe. You're forgetting to breathe. You're getting nervous. And she's like, and all of this is coming from doubt. She's like, look at how long you've prepared. It took you 4 weeks to prepare for this interview. You know who you are. She was like, I know who you are. I know that you'll be amazing. So go and prove to them that you're going to be amazing. And honestly, it was just that little pep talk and a little shaky legs up the stairs to my room. And as soon as I sat down, I just had to tell myself, okay, you can do this, Toni. You're going to be a PA. You just have to get through this interview. So I sat down, and that's what I did. And honestly, the way that everyone handles anxiety and nervousness is very different. Anxiety has been a very prevalent thing throughout my entire life, and it's been a very large struggle for me. So I've always just been fine-tuning coping strategies, fine-tuning ways to deal with that. But honestly, in very high stress situations, I'm very thankful for my best friend, Juliana. She is my stabilizing support system. So that's how I approached it. But for some of you who may not have that support or may not feel comfortable being vulnerable with another individual, there are so many other strategies for anxiety that you can do individually. You know, deep breathing, you can do that on your own. Putting on your favorite song, listening to that, looking in the mirror and doing a pep talk. Those are really great. And really just, it's that confidence. You just want to believe that you can do it, and really just instill in yourself, okay, I can do it. You just have to get through this one step, and then it's smooth sailing from there. That's kind of how I went about it.
Some other things that I can add in terms of dealing with anxiety throughout the actual interview. And, you know, even for me, I experienced anxiety between each question, because once you finish one question, you feel like a sense of relief, but then it like gurgles up again and you're like, oh God, I have to do that again. And so tips that I kind of took into account during my interview was taking a deep breath in between each question. It sounds so simple, but really it just brings you back and grounds you in terms of, you know, like, okay, I just answered that one. I can't think about what I just said, because that's one of the things that I always do is like, I go back and overthink my answers and like think about what I could have done better. So I had to get out of that mindset and just think, okay, what I said is in the past. I cannot change that. However, I can put my best foot forward for this next question. And so that's kind of the little pep talk, mini deep breathing session that I would give myself for literally 10 seconds before I had to, you know, hit start and do the next question that would come up. And something else that actually helped me was I was also experiencing quite a bit of anxiety the days leading up to the interview. I was having trouble sleeping. And every time I came to practice, I was experiencing a lot more little mistakes that I was maybe just noticing more because the interview was like right around the corner. So I kept being like, oh God, like Shada, stop making so many mistakes. Like, I kept doubting myself and thinking like, you're going to mess up this interview if you continue this way. And I was pressuring myself to do better. And so what I started to do near the interview was I kind of set a time. I was like, okay, like Toni said, we had like 2 days to do the interview. Like you could do it whenever you wanted. But for me, I knew it wasn't going to work if I like woke up in the morning and had the whole day and then decided to do it in the late afternoon. It wasn't going to work for me. I knew that I had to wake up, shower early morning, eat breakfast, kick my family out. Bye guys, I need to do my interview, and put on my outfit and do it at a set time, almost the way like a real simulated interview would be. Like if it was in person, I would have to be there at a certain time. And I found that, it's great that they give you this 2-day buffer to do it. But for me, it wasn't going to work to just kind of have that free floating, I can do it whenever I want. Like that was giving me more anxiety than I thought it would. So I set a time at like 10 a.m. I set my alarm for 2 hours earlier. I did my whole morning self-care routine to get into the mood. I put on my nicest outfit, and then I set it up, and I like literally counted it down as if it was going to be at that time. Like I was not going to be late by 1 minute. And so when I did the interview, that made it a lot easier for me, because then I felt that, like what's done is done. I have no choice but to do it at this time. And that took a lot of the anxiety off. I don't know if anyone else kind of experienced that, or if that's just something that I was alone in. But that idea of you can do it whenever you want really did not sit well with me. And doing it really early in the morning meant less time to think about it. You know what I mean? You just kind of get up, this is what you're going to do today. And then when it's done, I was like, okay, let's go make some pancakes now and like get on with my day. I mean, I also had a mini cry, but like, it's fine. And then we just move on with our day and you forget about it. So that's what worked best for me. And yeah, remember your deep breathing exercises, remember your little pep talks. And yeah, always just remember to smile and take a deep breath. Even if you feel as though you messed up the previous question, it's fine. Just move on to the next one, because most likely you didn't, and don't overthink it.